Jazz at Red Panda Reads. I don't know about you guys, but it's starting to get cold here. I've had to get my big jumper out. I've also dug out my slippers. I know they're not red pandas. I couldn't find any red panda ones, but yeah, I've had to dig out my slippers to try and keep my feet warm, and it's just starting to feel like the end of summer. But you know what? I don't mind too much about that. The end of summer basically means more opportunities to stay inside with a hot chocolate and a book and read, which in my opinion is a pretty good thing. So today I'm doing a bit of a creepy video in kind of, in preparation for Halloween. And this video is going to focus on 3 books and 3 films that haunted me so much as a kid. They are books that for years and years and years I could not stop thinking about. There were points as a child where I had to literally hide some of these books in a place where I couldn't see them because I was so terrified that either the characters or the things that would happen to them would happen to me if I could see the book. So I love my child logic there. Can't see it, I'm safe. But some of them I'm really keen to reread, and I'd absolutely love to know if you read any of these books or saw any of these films as a child and the impact it had on you as individuals. And also, should I reread some of these? Let me know. So to start off, I'm going to start talking about a book by a Greek author called The Last Black Cat. The author's name is Eugene Trivizas, and my memory of this book is it was phenomenal, but it was also incredibly dark, and I'm super keen to reread it. My initial memories of this book is just how gruesome it was. It follows a black cat who is the main protagonist, and the whole storyline is from this black cat's point of view, and it follows his journey as black cats start to be penalised by society for being unlucky. And this story kind of unfolds where people start trying to get rid of black cats because they're being blamed for all the bad things that are going on in the world, and the way that people go about getting rid of these black cats. There is a bit where there is a cat who just wants to be loved. Like, he just wants to be stroked and petted, and kind of everyone he sees he'll go up to and want to be loved. And he gets stabbed to death by knitting needles by some old ladies in a park. I mean, how horrible is that? And that scene literally burnt itself in my retina for years. Oh, but the reason I do love this book, and I think the one book I have here that I remember the most, was just because it's a really interesting way of tackling kind of discrimination and kind of how one group of people can be scapegoated. It actually deals with some really serious issues. As a child, I was able to read this in one sitting. Not one sitting, like I didn't have to like go away for a year because it was too scary for me, but it just was horribly gruesome, and every time I read it it just gave me goosebumps. So yes, I really want to reread that and see if I kind of love it as much as I did when I was younger, and I'd also recommend you guys picking the book up. I thought it was great. The next book is Bad Blood by Rhiannon Lassiter. This book I don't remember much about. My main memories of it was these bunch of children who ended up in this house in the, I think, Lake District. So yeah, these kind of moved into this old haunting house, which sounds kind of very stereotypically horror themed story. And within this house there is this doll that only seems to move when they're not watching, and starts cutting off the hair of some of the characters and putting it onto their own hair. And it was horrible. It really freaked me out. It reminded me a bit of that kind of Doctor Who episode, Blink, with the weeping angels. And it was just really horrifying. And I've read up a little bit more about it now, and it kind of says that these children end up in this house where the previous occupants had been playing this game, but the game went unfinished, and these new children who end up there get dragged into it. And I found the beginning really horrifying when you don't really understand what's going on, but as the parts of the books came together, and it kind of made sense that the things you thought were scary weren't necessarily evil, it made it more bearable to read. But I have no idea why I picked this up as a kid. I brought it from one of my school fates, or World Book. I brought it on World Book Day when you got like discounts on books. No idea why I brought it as a kid. Don't know what I'd think about it if I reread it now, but let me know if you've read it. But that really creeps me out. The next book is one that I tried to read 3 or 4 times, like yearly, as I was growing up. And that is The Valley of Secrets by Charmain Hussey. This book is about a young guy called Stephen who thinks he's an author, and who thinks he's an orphan, and he ends up finding out that he has a relative who's passed away and left him an estate, and he travels to this estate. And my main memory of this book was actually the front cover, which shows this massive iron gate with leaves kind of entwining all around it. And he ends up getting into this massive estate with this huge house and huge grounds. And while he's there, he initially thinks he's alone, but there's somebody else there. And he finds this diary, and all these different secrets and mysteries unravel. It terrified me. I hated it. There was nothing kind of outright scary. It was just properly damn creepy. You didn't know what was going on. This kind of thing kept on, like, stuff would be moved or things would disappear or you'd hear stuff. And I just really found it horribly creepy. I don't at all remember what else happens in this book. I just know I had to hide it in the bottom of my drawer so I couldn't see it. I think I did enjoy it in the end, but if you've read it, let me know what your thoughts are, whether I should go back to it. Okay, so next I've got the 3 films. Number 1, Watership Down. I watched that when I must have been less than 5 years old because I was still living in London at the time. Oh my goodness. It is so gruesome. I don't know if the book is similar, but honestly, it gave me nightmares. There's this bit where it's about, I think it's about these rabbits who have to go and find a new home. And on their journey to find a new home, a lot of them get killed in multiple different and gruesome ways. And ones get killed by birds, I think. Others get killed and crushed by, I think, humans who want to get them off their land. And there's this images of these poor rabbits being crushed to death in their burrows, and kind of, it's an animated movie, but there's animated blood everywhere. Just no. As a child, no. How is it to you? No. It's just, So I haven't gone back to Watership Down, unsurprisingly. Let me know if I should now, but no, as a child, no, awful. The next 2, both animated films that I want to both of the films are Roald Dahl films that also terrified me. So the first was the BFG. Big Friendly Giant was lovely. I loved his snozcumbers. I loved kind of the magical world where he collects all his dreams, and the colours, amazing. However, the giants, the bad giants in that film are terrifying. For those who haven't read the BFG or don't know what it's about a young girl who looks out her bedroom window one day and she sees a giant, and he sees her and he takes her away. And he is the only kind of vegetarian giant within where he lives. And he goes round, and it turns out he goes round at night giving kids dreams. However, now that he's been seen, he has to take this young girl away from her orphanage because he doesn't want anyone else to know about the giants. However, there aren't just big friendly giants, there are also giants that every night go around houses and eat kids from their windows. So for maybe a year, I would hide underneath my bed. Not underneath my bed, underneath the covers in my bedroom with a little torch, not being able to fall asleep because I was terrified that the giants from the Big Friendly Giant were going to eat me. I remember also enjoying the book when I was a little bit older, but again, when I saw it, I must have been under the age of 5, and no, just no. So the final film I will mention is another Roald Dahl, and that was The Witches. And a good friend of mine, kind of one of my childhood friends, he's a good friend called Jaya, we used to play, whenever we saw each other, we used to play video games till ridiculous times in the morning, and then we'd also watch films. And we decided to watch The Witches at what seemed at the time a very late time. It was probably like 10 o'clock or something, but we were quite young. And The Witches is a story by Roald Dahl, like I've already said, where there are these witches in society who kidnap young children. Because I believe they eat them, I want to say. And it follows a character who finds out that the witches have this great plan for capturing more children. Oh, they were creepy. The first bit, you see a young girl taking some milk somewhere else, and she just goes missing. And oh, it was creepy. Yeah. Also, another film that left quite an imprint on me. So those are my 3 books and 3 films that have haunted me for a very long time due to either some very graphic descriptions of death or because they were incredibly creepy. Let me know if you've seen or watched any of those, your thoughts on it, and I hope you've enjoyed this creepy video. Yeah, that's me trying to be scary. Take care, guys. Bye.